Alright, the project for today is a Poulan Pro with the Kohler XT675. It doesn't run currently. We're going to diagnose why it doesn't run and do a service on it. First thing we're going to do is check for spark. That is not a 5/8. 11/16. The spark plugs these come with are usually not the best qualities. Try to replace them whenever they come in with the factory spark plug in them. Looks like it's got quite a bit of crud in there. Check for spark anyway. Get something to hold the bail down. And give her a tug. Oh yeah, it's got decent spark even with that crappy spark plug. So being that it has good spark, I'm going to check the fuel system, which that air cleaner does not look great. The spark plug that Kohler puts in there cross references to a Champion RA8HC. If you guys are looking for a better replacement. Two 10mm nuts here. That pops off of there. And a fuel line. Which I usually pinch off with a pliers so it doesn't leak everywhere. And the linkage you just turn like that, and that pops up and out. And then the spring, then you got a choke linkage here, which you gotta go the other side where it connects up above the muffler. Just bend it slightly and it'll pop out of there. And then you can unhook it from the carb and it slides right off. Now, I did blow this off with compressed air just so it's a little bit cleaner to take apart. You don't drop a bunch of crud down in there. You just take this bolt off the bottom and pull the float bowl off, which that looks very clean. And pull that pin out, pull the float out of there, and the needle. You can look down in the needle seat to see if there's any gunk in there. You can pull out the jet out of the center. If that fights you, just don't take it out and just run a piece of wire and some carb clean through it. Don't force it. You'll cause more damage and end up having to replace the carb. And there's the the jet. For the smaller stuff, I just use this, it's called piano wire, but it's a nice little tiny wire that you can run through the jets. Kind of work it around in there a little bit. And I also have these cleaners here. These are torch tip cleaners. You have to be careful with these because they can actually take material off of the jet and change your jet size, so don't ream them back and forth in there. And I'll put one up through here. So that all looks fine. Spray a little carb clean through everything. Put that back in there. This one's not too bad. I'm gonna put this back together. And see, there's a flat spot in the bowl, so you want to make sure that goes in this flat spot there, so it doesn't leak. Tighten that back up. And then you have another jet up here. Take this idle adjustment out and kind of look at where it is at before you take it out. And pop this out with a screwdriver. And there's a little hole in the bottom there. You're going to want to run a small piece of wire through. And then some carb clean again. And I like to look through them with a flashlight to see if I could see the light through them clear. And also down inside here. I spray a little bit of carb clean. Push that back down until it seats in there. Get that idle adjustment screw started again. Get it close to the same as what you had it. And that's about all there is to these carbs. If it was really bad, I would dunk it in ultrasonic cleaner or keep it fully apart and blow more air through it and stuff. But this one really wasn't that bad. None of the jets looked plugged or anything, so we're probably looking for a different issue. So I reassembled the carburetor and air cleaner and everything off camera. It's pretty much the reverse of when I tore it apart. We're going to give a try starting it. I suspect that junk that was in the spark plug might have been causing the no start issue, but it's good to check the carburetor anyway. So I'll give her a pull and see what happens. Alright, so that actually worked. I did drain the gas tank too and put fresh gas in it. That's always also a good idea if they've been sitting for quite a while like this one was. And then we'll continue on with the service. I'll run it for a little bit and get the oil warmed up, and I'll show you how we suck the oil out of this one since they don't have a drain plug on a lot of these newer push mowers. So I'll bring you back when we get to that point. So I've got this oil extractor that you can either pump it or hook compressed air to it, but it's just easier to just pump it most of the time. And give that a few pumps. and you can see it sucking the oil up there. And I do prop them up so you get every last bit of oil out then when they're lean to the side like that. This hose just goes in there. If you don't have anything like that, you can just tip these on their side and dump it out, but it just makes kind of a mess, so I try to do it this way. You can find those at Harbor Freight or online. I bought this one on eBay, I think it was. It was like $115 or something like that on eBay. These Kohler engines, you have to pour the oil in extremely slowly or they overflow. As you can see, I already overflowed it a little bit. You can kind of watch, see it filling up and slow back down so it doesn't overflow. There's a half a quart. I did spill some, so I'll put a little bit more than that in there and see where we're at. Throw the dipstick in there. Right about at the full mark. I didn't replace the air filter or the spark plug yet. I just cleaned the spark plug. I had to order the plug and the air filter. I didn't have those in stock. So next thing we'll do is take the blade off and sharpen it, and that should be about the last thing we got to do on this one. Removing the blade is pretty self-explanatory here. It's just a 9/16. Some are a 5/8, but usually always a one or the other. And we'll get that sharpened up. You can sharpen the blade various ways, but I use a angle grinder with one of these flamethrower ceramic discs on it. It's from Kimball Midwest. I've had good luck with these or the Lawson fast grind discs. They make those in a couple different grits that are pretty good too. The bench grinder works. This is just a lot faster than the bench grinder. I usually start by flattening the face out. And then I run the underside just to get that flattened back out. And I just follow the correct angle that's already here from the factory edge. If there's not a edge left there, you can kind of just make your own. Once you've done a few, you kind of know the angle it should be at. You want to make sure you don't stay in one place too long where it gets too hot. And you also don't want it to be sharp like a razor blade either. You want a little bit of a sharp edge there, but not too sharp. Otherwise the first little thing they hit, they just dull right away. So I'm going to do the other side and throw it back on, and this one will be good to go once I get the air filter and spark plug put in. When you put the blade back on, you want to make sure the curved edge like that is up towards the motor. I see a lot of customers bring mowers in that have the blade on like this, and then your blade is spinning this way, so your sharp edge is not even doing anything. It's cutting on the wrong side of the blade. So make sure the lift edge here goes up towards the top of the deck. Got the new air filter and new spark plug in here, and we'll do a cold start on it, and we'll call it done. I always like to do a cold start on stuff just to make sure it's good to go before I send it with the customer. See if it'll start in one pull for us. Yeah, it runs good. One thing I was going to point out is the model number on these is on the side by the back wheel. Make sure when you're looking for parts you use that model number there. So I had two identical ones, but the only difference was the last two digits were 01 instead of 00, and they took a different air filter. So that's going to do it for this one. If you like this sort of thing, like and subscribe. We'll be trying to put out at least one video a week. I'm trying to get some variety in here. Do some motorcycle repair videos and some on my tractors, and do some riding videos. Thanks for watching.